Sometimes you catch a story or you read headlines and you can't believe what you just read. There's a headline that I read yesterday where it's like, are you flipping serious? Is this being written as if it's newsworthy? I'm going to get to that in a second. But first, let me tell you about Hokeland Farm. Contact Hokeland Farm at 952-491-1541 and get the best rotationally grazed 100% grass-fed beef. My wife and I eat Hokeland Farm beef all the time. We put a little sirloin steak or chuck roast on our smoker, and oh my goodness gracious, that meat is so moist, so delicious, and yet so lean at the same time. It was $4.15 a pound for Hokeland Farm beef. For all beef, for steak, for chuck roast. Before we got Hokeland Farm beef, I was getting chuck roast at Walmart, the cheapest grocery store there is besides Aldi, for $7.15 a pound. That's $3 extra a pound. And chuck roasts are like a lot of money and a lot of pounds. So think about the money that you save by ordering Hokeland Farm beef. So contact Hokeland Farm and get 20% off by mentioning the Minnesota Tim podcast. 952-491-1541. Okay, so this headline that I just could not believe. The Minnesota Vikings still believe in J.J. McCarthy. What? Are you kidding me? Where could this possibly come from? Local insider, and this comes courtesy of MinnesotaSportsFan.com. J.J. McCarthy is still the Minnesota Vikings future. Okay. Tell me something that I didn't know. And this is nothing against Minnesota Sports Fan. I am on his website all the time. Eric Strack, I think, does a phenomenal job, and they've really ramped up the content. He's just quoting Darren Wolfson, who is a big part of Score North. Darren Wolfson said this: there's already been all this talk about what the future holds for Sam Darnold. I'll just tell you, the Vikings think the world of J.J. McCarthy. To me, nothing has changed when looking at 2025. So let's enjoy the moment. This is fun right now. I don't see a scenario outside of hosting the Lombardi Trophy in early February where we can revisit this. I can understand that, but barring something like that, I still think this is J.J. McCarthy's team in 2025. Now, you could argue that the final sentence is a real story. I still think this is J.J. McCarthy's team in 2025 because he hasn't taken an NFL snap yet. So the discussion of whether or not to extend Sam Darnold right now, which I think makes the most sense for the Minnesota Vikings and the most sense for Sam Darnold, is a discussion that has been happening so far. I kind of got lost there. What was I saying? Let me try this again. The discussion on whether or not to extend Sam Darnold has been a real one because J.J. McCarthy has not yet taken an NFL snap. And next year, I mean, he took a preseason snap versus the Raiders, but let's be real here. That's not a real NFL snap. So I think it makes most sense for the Vikings and Sam Darnold to sign contract extensions. Have a mutual agreement, sign for 2 to 3 years, and the Minnesota Vikings can have a reliable backup in Sam Darnold when J.J. McCarthy eventually sees the field. Plus, next year, J.J. McCarthy's still only going to be 22 years old. He's one of the youngest players ever drafted in terms of being a quarterback in the NFL draft. But this idea that the Minnesota Vikings still love J.J. McCarthy. They traded into the top 10, only one spot, but into the top 10 to get this guy. He is the Minnesota Vikings future. As great and as phenomenal as Sam Darnold has played for the Minnesota Vikings, J.J. McCarthy is their investment. And Sam Darnold, he's clearly got love from the Minnesota Vikings fan base because they've won games and he's played out of his mind. But it's been 3 games. 3 games. The Minnesota Vikings still love J.J. McCarthy despite Sam Darnold playing well for 3 games. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Water is wet. Metal is hard and cold. Snow is white. And the Minnesota Vikings love J.J. McCarthy. Sam Darnold, you've been great. You've been awesome. And hey, I'm not even opposed right now to him potentially being QB1 to start the 2025 season. But let's be real here. Why would the Minnesota Vikings have a different opinion of J.J. McCarthy right now than what they had after J.J. McCarthy's first preseason game? I don't get it. What has changed for J.J. McCarthy besides Sam Darnold throwing 8 touchdown passes and 2 picks? Why would the Minnesota Vikings' belief change in their rookie franchise quarterback because of what another quarterback has done so far this season? It shouldn't. It's not like J.J. McCarthy has gone out there and thrown 0 touchdowns and 8 picks, and then here comes Sam Darnold throwing for 8 touchdowns and 2 picks. It's not like J.J. McCarthy forced the hand of Sam Darnold to be the starter, and Sam Darnold clearly outperformed him. And even so, it's his rookie season. Rookie quarterback struggle. Look around the league. Caleb Williams looks awful. Bo Nix doesn't look as bad. He's had some up and down games. He really played well against the Bucs, but his first 2 weeks he didn't look good. After, 2 weeks in the NFL season, no rookie quarterback had an NFL touchdown pass. It took until week 3 for Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix to throw a touchdown, and Caleb Williams too. So I saw this story and I rolled my eyes, and I just could not believe it. Man, content. Gotta love it. The Minnesota Vikings, in case you didn't know, still have faith, hope, and love for J.J. McCarthy.